Hello, my name is Ryan, and you are listening to the CrimeCast. In this show, we will talk about true crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and cryptid creatures from all over the world, from the mountains of the Himalayas to the suburbs of Los Angeles. And in this episode, we will be talking about 10 of the most famous cryptid creatures sighted in Alaska. Originally, this episode was supposed to be tier 5 of the cryptid creature iceberg, but because I will actually be heading up to Alaska this month, I decided why not instead talk about some cryptid creatures within Alaska. I do want to note there's at least one cryptid in here that is on the iceberg, but that's not until one of the deeper or higher tiers, if that makes sense. So I'm still going to talk about it, but I'll also re-talk about it once that tier comes along. And one last note, most of these cryptids I am about to talk about have been sighted within the Alaskan Triangle and are mainly part of the local folklore and mythology of some of the native people within Alaska. So just keep that in mind, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of these cryptids' names or even the native people's names, if that makes sense. So what is the Alaskan Triangle? Well, the Alaskan Triangle is actually very similar to that of the Bermuda Triangle, where in a certain area of Alaska, between the cities of Juneau, Anchorage, and Yavik, also formerly known as Burroughs, Alaska, for the past 50 years, reports of people going missing, UFO sightings, claims of Bigfoot and other cryptic creatures, and even paranormal activity has been cited within this certain area. And most of the cryptids, like I said in the intro, will be sighted within this triangle. Some of them are outside of it, but still, this is the main reports you'll get of people going missing, Bigfoot sightings, even paranormal activity, just like that of the Bermuda Triangle, and also very similar to that of another type of triangle that is in the northeastern part of the United States. The first cryptic on our list is the Illiama lake monster. Just like every other place in the world, Alaska also has its own version of the Loch Ness monster. Located in Alaska's largest lake, Lake Illiana, this serpent-like creature, known to the locals as Illy, is said to be around 25 to 30 feet long, while others say she can be around 50 to 60 feet in length. And one noticeable feature about her is going to be her square-shaped or square-like head, which she uses to place blunt force, onto objects such as small boats. The first sighting of the creature were reported by the local Tlingit people, who called the creature Gunakade, describing it as a type of, quote, fish god, end quote. They also said the creature had the head and tail similar to that of a wolf and the body of an orca, which is very similar to that of another cryptid known as the Akhult. Illy has been reported by the native Aleut people as well, and unlike the Tlingit people, who saw it as a god, the Aleuts feared it. They called the creature Gig Ik Nak and reported they would travel in groups and attacked canoes and killed warriors. Soon these stories would catch the interest of local pilots and fishermen, who began to wonder what this creature was. Soon after that, reports started flooding in during the late 1950s of, quote, large dull aluminum-colored fish, end quote, reported in this lake. With this being the subject of the state's primary newspaper in 1979, which offered a reward of $100,000 for anyone who could provide conclusive evidence of the creature's existence. Since then, no one has provided this evidence, and even Jeremy Wade of River Monsters went to search for this cryptic, but found nothing and even concluded that it was probably just a misidentification of a local fish found in the lake. One common feature you're going to see with most of these cryptids is they are found or sighted near bodies of water within the Alaskan Triangle. The next cryptid is the Qalupalik. which comes from Inuit mythology. According to mythology, the Qalupalik is a humanoid sea creature with greenish skin, long hair, elongated fingernails, and webbed feet and hands. The Inuit describe this creature wearing a amanut, which is a traditional Inuit parka with a pouch on the back used to carry away children it captures. The creature who mainly targets children who wander too close to the shoreline without their parents' permission and basically just snatches them up. Kinda like Krampus. It cannot be a cryptic creature tier list, iceberg, list in general without Bigfoot. Or to the Inuit people, they call it Tornit. It's also known in Alaska as either the wild man or bushman. All of those names, Tornit, Bigfoot, wild man, bushman, same cryptid. Of course, just like any other type of Bigfoot-like creature, the Tornit is of course taller than the Inuit people, has longer arms, legs, and is much stronger. But what differs the Tornit from other Bigfoot reports is they have very poor eyesight. According to the Anchorage Daily, the first reports of the Tornit were soon after the Inuit people started making their way into Alaska via the Bering Land Bridge. The Inuit and Tornit would live together peacefully, living in their own villages, but they would use the same hunting grounds. They would also play games together. Now, there are two stories about how the two would become enemies. This is background for the first story. Now, the Inuit were very skilled hunting and building kayaks. While the Tornits never really mastered this skill, they did know that this was an advantage. According to the story, a young Tornit had borrowed a young Inuit's kayak without his permission. The Tornit would damage the bottom of the kayak, causing the Inuit's boy to become very angry with him, and ended up stabbing the creature in the nape of its neck while it slept. This caused the rest of the Tornits in the area to fear that they would be killed by the Inuits, causing them to leave the area and rarely be seen again. The other story, which is mainly linked to how the two tribes would play the games together, says that once the Inuit realized that the Tornits were much rougher than they realized, even causing some of the Inuits to get hurt, they stopped playing with the Tornits. Once in a while, a story comes from the Alaskan bush of hunters going missing and to either be never seen again or found dead and mangled. Hunting traps have also been found damaged, and other strange occurrences linked to the Tornits. Unlike the last two cryptids we talked about, this next one is mainly sighted outside of the Alaskan Triangle and seen near the coast of the Bering Strait. The Amikuk is a type of shapeshifter told by the Yupik Eskimo people, who describe the creature as being a, quote, large, slimy, leathery-skinned animal, end quote. According to legend, the creature mainly targets hunters on both land and sea. It attacks its prey by wrapping its arms around them, mainly those in kayaks, and drags them down to the bottom of the sea. Alongside attacking those in the sea, it's also able to travel on land, with the Amikuk being able to shapeshift into a human. Though, according to the Upecs, the creature, while on land, is only able to travel in one straight line. So if you're being chased on land by this creature, the best way to escape them is sitting right in front of its intended path. Seeing that you are in its way, the Amikuk will offer you, quote, increasingly incredible gifts, end quote, as a way for you to move out of its way. It's suggested that you wait out until the Amikuk either offers you incredible wealth or a gift your heart desires. So if you guys want to be rich, head on over to the Bering Strait, find the Amikuk, sit at its intended path, wait until it gives you like $1 million fucking dollars, and then dip. Keeping the theme with shapeshifters going, this next cryptid is another shapeshifter and is known as the Kushtaka. Like I said, it's a shapeshifter that comes from the Tiglet people. Till, you get what I'm trying to say here. They describe the Kushtaka as being half man and half otter, with some believing the creature is cruel and likes to play tricks on Telengit sailors, leading them to their deaths, while others believe that the cryptid is a helpful guide who helps those who get lost in the Alaskan wilderness, providing them with food and guides them out. They are known to be able to imitate human sounds, such as a baby or a woman crying, to lure people to their death. They also make a distinctive 3-note whistle sound, which you can also hear and be like, that's the Kushkatak. My favorite, but this one is one of my favorites because what do you mean you're half otter, half man? Another cryptic coming from the Inuits is that of a race of people with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a dog called the Adlet. According to the Inuits, the Adlets were created when an Inuit woman mated with a dog. She would give birth to 10 children, 5 were dogs, and 5 bore the lower half of a dog and the upper half of a man. Legend notes that 5 of her children somehow made their way to Europe after she just left them in the Arctic, while the other 5 stayed with their mother and would become ferocious, flesh-eating canine humanoids who would attack anyone they encounter. The Adlets are now said to roam the tundra in packs, seeking out Inuit villages to feed on. So these are werewolves, but like, why the fuck did the mom want to fuck a dog? And how the fuck she bear children with that? That's nasty. That's nasty. I don't believe that one fucking bit. That one I'm not believing a tad bit. I would rather believe the half otter, half man one compared to this. Because y'all are either werewolves or y'all just some freaky motherfuckers. Next cryptic is the Ircenrraat. And yes, that's how it's pronounced. Ircenrraat. Are similar to that of the leprechauns from Ireland and are a race of miniature people seen by the Yupik. They have these extraordinary powers and are said to live in a different dimension than ours, with one day in their world equaling to 1 year in ours. The Ircenrraat have been spotted hunting and gathering and are said to be excellent craftsmen. They also love causing mischief by leading people astray in the wilderness. Others say they are a good luck charm. People have also reported being kidnapped by them and being taken into their underground lairs. This next cryptid is, of course, another aquatic creature coming from the Inuit mythology called Tizheruk. Is described as being a serpent-like creature and has been seen around the Nunivak and Kings Island in the Bering Strait of Alaska. So once again, this one is outside of the Alaskan Triangle and has also been seen near the Kushtaka River. Besides being serpent-like, the creature also has some strange features, such as 3 pairs of legs with mammalian paws. I believe that's how you say that. 2 fox-like heads, short horns. It has 3 stomachs, thick fur, a long chameleon-like tongue, sharp fangs, and a tail that resembles either a fish or a dolphin's. Lastly, it said the creature has a serrated ridge that runs the length of its back and is complete with a trio of dorsal fins. And just like its appearance, its behavior is also strange. The creature is a carnivore and will rear its body up around 7 to 8 feet out of the water and crashes down on kayaks, killing the natives inside of them. This next cryptic is known as the cats and comes from, once again, the Tlingit people. And this cryptic is mainly seen in and around the area of Ketchikan, Alaska. As the story goes, a Tlingit hunter named Kat, Kaat, was the only one in the village who was skilled at hunting, trapping, and fishing. One day while Cat was hunting, he encountered a she-bear, but right in front of him, she would shapeshift into her human form. Although Cat had a wife in the village, he would fall in love with the she-bear's human form and stayed in the forest with her. The she-bear would bore him 3 bear cubs, and one day while hunting, Cat ran into a man from his village. He told him that due to him disappearing, the village was starving. So Cat would return to the village and teach them how to hunt, fish, trap, etc. But only under one condition, according to the she-bear. He wouldn't speak to his human wife, but his human wife would actually find him and started speaking to him. Once the bear wife found this out, she would trick him because she's like, oh, it wasn't his fault, it's the wife's fault, and become mad at him. But their children didn't know this and would end up killing their father. This caused the she-bear to run away and now forever mourns the loss of her husband, with the legend saying that, quote, her tears never stop following on the town of Ketchikan, end quote. So this story, different than others, is just the main tale of why it is always raining within Ketchikan. It never also says what happens to this guy's cubs. Like, did she just abandon them? We don't know. But yeah, this is a cool one though because I'm actually heading into that area of Alaska to touch on that one. Really interesting to talk about. The Keelut is an evil spirit that takes the form of a hairless dog and targets those traveling alone in the Alaskan wilderness, mainly at night. According to the Inuit people, the Keelut is completely black in color with oily skin that glistens in the light. It has no facial features other than eyes that are said to glow with an unworldly light, striking fear into anyone who looks into its eyes. And if you look into its eyes for too long, it's said that the Keelut will take your soul. The Keelut mainly hunts at night, blending into the night perfectly. If it does attack you, you will die instantly, or like I said earlier, it will just take your soul. You got no other choice of survival. And this is going to be the hardest one for me to pronounce on this list, so I'm going to be pronouncing it once and one time only. This is the Sdonalyasna, also known as people stealers, and that's how I'm going to be referring to it, the whole little blurb I'm saying about this thing. So these are mainly cited on the Kenai Peninsula, and according to the Dina people, the people stealers, take on a human form and is covered in fur with a tail, with the most notable feature of it being its long nose, with reports saying it can reach up to a foot in length. The creature is known, as I said before, a people snatcher, and lures its victims by using bird or other animal sounds. They would then place their victims into a coma, not directly killing them right away, with the only way to get out of this coma is by a good luck song, holy water, or making the sign of the cross above the person. So if you get snatched by this thing and you're alone, you fucked. I need to stop telling you guys if you're like fucked if you get like killed by these, but I'm so sorry. And that was 10 cryptids from the state of Alaska. A little bit of a different video, like I said, but I am currently writing the script for the final episode of season 2, so hopefully that does also get released by the end of the year. And like I said before, we're visiting Alaska. I'm doing a vlog that will be out in the next few months, but planning on the release being end of September. Other than that, got nothing else from me. Hopefully, season 2 comes out by the end of the year, so that way I can get out tier 5 by the end of the year. If not, maybe I'll see you guys next year. Maybe I'll see you in the vlog. Yeah, this was a very short episode, very simple episode. My voice is fucking fried right now because I also have a job where I talk on the phone all day. So being a podcaster, in the sense that I only record a few times a year now, you understand why. So my voice cannot stand talking for hours on end anymore. Anyways, that's it. Intro, outro, bye.